Tammy Bratton, children's book author and mom of 3.
And I am Marci, children's book lover and mom of 4. Should I redo that?
No, I think it's good. This is Moms Love Kids Books. We love kids' books, and we want to tell you all of our favorite ones. I'm going to tell you one that I saw recommended to me like on Instagram or something like that, and it was expensive, so I didn't buy it, but I went to my library and asked them to buy it, and we have a wonderful children's library, and a lot of libraries have this where you can say, hey, you should buy this book, and I don't know how they choose, but every time I've ever said, go buy this book, they buy that book.
Yeah, I think they're pretty responsive.
Yeah. So they bought this book they bought another one from the series rather, and I loved it so much that I ended up buying it in the long run, which I guess is like how libraries are supposed to work and books still make money. I don't know. Anyway, this is called My Art Book of Friendship, words by Shana Gozansky, published by Phaidon. I think that's how you say it. Basically, they have a whole series of them. My Art Book of fill in blank. The one that I requested was My Art Book of Love. And it's all fine art from museums around the world. Probably a lot of them are in the creative, what do they call it, the public domain?
Oh, sure.
But a lot of them are modern artists as well. And basically, it's just art that you would find in museums. And it'll list who the artist is and what the name of the thing is. And it just tells it, it's not even really a story, but it's saying, friendship is close to your home. Friends love each other. So be on your way and celebrate your friendship today. That's the very end. But I like it because it's not a story. And sometimes I think there's something really nice. It feels more, this format is a board book, but even my big kids will look and thumb through it. And sometimes it'll be pictures that you recognize that like I remember from art history classes in college and things like that, or you've seen kind of all over. Yeah. And a lot of them are ones that I've never seen. And I really love art, and I love museums, and I love artists. It's something that I don't do. I don't make art, but I really appreciate it, and I want to cultivate that in my kids. And I think this has been helpful, seeing just the variety of different styles. Like this is a photograph in kind of a modern way, But I just really love it. So my Art Book of Friendship, My Art Book of Love is the other one that's really good.
It's kind of, I feel like those picture books for babies where it's like red and it just has it's kind of like that, but like elevated to in a more interesting way, or in a way that older kids will appreciate more than babies.
Maybe is Little Einsteins, where I like think I'm feeding my child something really, they're going to turn into like very artistically refined. Yes. But also, it's just as good pictures.
Yeah, and I feel like I would enjoy looking through it with my kids too.
Absolutely.
Okay, so speaking of art, I brought Eli by Bill Peet. Bill Peet was a Disney animator back in the day. He worked on 101 Dalmatians. He worked on Jungle Book. He worked on some of those.
I saw this. This totally is like a Jungle Book face. Like this looks like that. Is it Bagheera maybe?
Yeah.
Like when he kind of gets all droopy face.
So Bill Peet he worked with Disney for a number of years and eventually left. And has a bunch of books. So on the back here, you'll see a bunch. We have probably 5 of them. We love all of them. And some of you guys might remember them, you guys, assuming parents, from your childhood. Because I know growing up, we had Hermit the Kermit, or Kermit the Hermit, and some of these other ones. Okay, so what I like about this is, just like you would expect from a Disney movie, it's just a great story. And so I often pick books where there's like a real strong message, like I love you unconditionally, or this like has,
or it's okay to be brave.
Yes, like we are like beating you on the head with this message. And there's
be kind to your siblings.
Nice. Yeah. It's okay if you don't win. All these things that we want our kids, and those are good messages. But this is more like the Jungle Book, or
just a story.
There's stories, and there's a message in there. Certainly, his books have a good message, but it's also just a story. And I'm not going to read any of it, but I'll show you a couple of these pages. It's a little bit longer. So this one, not quite so much. This is one of the shorter ones, but this isn't like pick a book because I said I'd read to you. Let's So maybe not the best bedtime story, because this is going to take like a 10-minute read, but that's great sometimes when you're like, we want to kill time. I want to sit here. I want to sit with you. I don't want to read 17 like picture book, you know.
Yes, we want to sit and read this one.
We're gonna sit, and better for some of the older kids who want a little bit more of a developed story.
It's so vibrant. Like there's so much action in the pictures,
and the words are. He uses good vocabulary, but he really supports that. So if there's a word that you're like, oh, I don't know if my kid knows that, he is descriptive enough that your kid is gonna know what's going on in the story in a way that I think is really good for him.
Probably builds vocabulary.
So this one, I'll tell you about this one specifically real quick. This is about Eli. Eli is an old lion, well past his prime. He's not the first lion to eat, whatever. And so soon finds himself in the company of these vultures. And he hates them because they're loud and ugly and awful and blah.
Vultures really are always the bad guys.
Well, and then this like unlikely friendship develops between Eli and the vultures, and just kind of like gives him a new lease on life. But a great story, great vocabulary, and just a good, we're gonna sit down, we're gonna go through this book. So anything by Bill Peet I recommend, but this is Eli.
And my art book of friendship.
So
till next time, check him out.